Hello, everybody. This is Turbodog702, and this is Lords of Shadow 2. We are actually going to be doing a small segment of the game. It's actually going to be the DLC. DLC is called Revelations. It stars Alucard. It's going to be a relatively short run, but I figured I'd show it off for a little bit. Lords of Shadow 2 is an interesting game, but I don't know it really yet. I'm really familiar with Lords of Shadow 1 as from the last ARPGME, but so far I've only been working on the DLC here because it's kind of an interesting quick run. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be doing a New Game Plus run. So yeah, we'll get that started soon enough here. Whenever you guys are ready, you want me to give a countdown here?
I'm ready.
All right. So it's going to be on go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you. So Revelations takes place slightly during, well, maybe during's the wrong thing. It's basically events just before Lords of Shadow 2, for the most part. Kind of explains how things got where they were and everything. It's just filling in the blanks for things that didn't need to be filled in. It's very odd. So the first ability that we have that we gain access to is the Bat Swarm. That allows us to kind of fly around to certain anchor points. We're going to be getting into combat here. Combat is mostly going to be dominated by two moves, Ultimate Igneous and Ultimate Glacium. Real quick, we are going to be dropping the difficulty to the lowest possible. Unfortunately, you can't do that pre-starting up New Game Plus, but that's just the way it works. So we're going to be learning a scant few moves here. New Game Plus allows us the ability to have tons and tons of experience to purchase basically whatever moves we want at the beginning of the run. For the purpose of this route, we only get 4 moves, and out of those 4, we're only really using 2. The other 2 are basically just so that we can unlock the 2 relevant ones. Unfortunately, I got command grabbed by that guy, but not really a lot I can do with it. So one of the kind of bad things about Ultimate Igneous is it does do this slowdown at the end of hits, but again, not too much we can do about that. We just gotta kind of cope with it. You will see me dashing around the vast majority when I'm on the ground in Alucard form. That's the fastest form of movement that we have available. It would technically be faster to attack with the katana in between dashing, but because of how we have set up for our special abilities, we cannot do that without triggering another move. So dashing's kind of our go-to right now. We're getting our second ability here, which is Timeless Vision. Timeless Vision allows Alucard to remember a time when the castle was a certain way. It's very odd, but that's the general premise of it, is he's able to recreate the castle as he knew it at a time when it wasn't quite as dilapidated as it is now. This is the Spectral Wolf. Spectral Wolf has a number of things that it does. It's fast for going uphill, but not as fast if you're just moving from place to place. This is a slight climbing skip that we're going to be doing. So normally you would have to fly to like 6 or 7 bad anchor points there in order to have that work. We're now in the Toymaker's domain. We're actually going to fail all of these challenge rooms. Failing it is considerably faster than completing them.
You failed!
So other things that the wolf does, besides being good when you're heading up slopes, it allows Alucard to jump further than normal. It also allows him to go incorporeal and go through fences and such. It also allows him to move while keeping his physical body elsewhere, which is kind of a weird thing when you first play the game. Kind of can cause trouble and confusion. But as you get further and further into the game, it makes more sense. So, as an example of puzzle solving here, we're using the shield to ramp up the blade trap here. and we're using Timeless Vision to repair the trap to a time when it was active. We're breaking the statues there because we're hoping for relic drops. Relics have a variety of functions. The main one we're trying to get is Ensnared Demon. Ensnared Demon gives us infinite magic for both of our magic types for a period of time. That's another puzzle room. We're going to have this puzzle room now. Again, trying to fail this as soon as we can. That's optimal right there. A lot of times if you don't get moves on top of spikes fast enough, you need to wait for another cycle of spikes to kill you. So this next section, we are going to hunt down 3 large jailers that have the keys to the next area. I am replenishing my magic right here because I didn't get great relic drops in the previous areas. That being said, it's not uncommon to get, you know, kind of rough relic luck. One of the biggest things that determines a good run or not at, well, what is right now the high level of this game is how good your relic luck is. As I mentioned, you do want to get Ensnared Demons, but if you get any relics whatsoever, you can do a transmutation. Transmutation allows you to turn relics into other relics. So you don't necessarily need a specific relic like the Ensnared Demon, you just need some relics. That being said, it would be really nice to get Ensnared Demons, because then we don't have to go through the transmute menu. And those add up quite a bit. Another unfortunate thing is you can only have up to 3 of a single relic at any given time. So because of that, it's not like we can just get a ton of relic drops and do all the transmutation at once. We do have to kind of structure it around that. Slightly faster path using the bat here to get on top of the staircase. Normally you're supposed to go around and bat from there. This is kind of an example of the wolf. We saw it jumping further than normal on the previous section. Here we're seeing it go through the gate due to its incorporeality. Nice double hit there off of the Ultimate Igneous. So in the upper left, underneath my health, you'll notice that it says Ultimate Igneous 100%. That means that we have now raised Ultimate Igneous to the strongest possible incarnation of it, so it does the most damage. All abilities in Lords of Shadow 2 have the ability to get stronger with use. Here's the use of the incorporeality of the wolf while maintaining Alucard's position. So while Alucard's holding the switch here, the wolf is able to kind of teleport him into the elevator here. Your tip to that one, and that one took me a long time to figure out, it says no wolves allowed, so that's your tip for how to do that puzzle. It seems really kind of like straightforward when I mention it like that, but the way the wolf's mechanics work inside of this DLC is not expressed the best. So we're going into our final challenge room here. And this is going to be our first use of a Ensnared Demon. We need to do this because we didn't really have access to a ton of magic after this. Now, what would be nice is if these small guys would line up along with the large guy, but they aren't really cooperating. That's okay, though.
I remember when you were doing that puzzle way back when you were first going through this, it took ages that you finished.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird puzzle. That's a stomp. Stomp allows you to hit the ground faster. You'll see that in a couple places. It's a nice bit of movement tech. So we're going to be coming up into a large arena where we're going to be breaking Ensnared Demons to kind of rush the encounter. We're then going to be recovering the Void Sword so that we can place it in a place where Dracula, Gabriel Belmont, can find it later on in the game in relative safety for how weak he's going to be at the time. So while we're going through this, we have a little bit of downtime. Would you like to kind of talk a little bit about ARPGME and your plans with the marathon a little bit, Ash? Going
yeah,
forward?
so ARPGME's been kind of an interesting experience. It was kind of supposed to be a one-off idea at first, but I mean, a lot of people enjoyed it last year and decided to bring it back and work a little bit harder on making it look better than it did last year. That was one of the complaints that I think I heard the most, was that overall, like, it was nice, but I mean, colors and all the stuff that went into it weren't that great, considering it was a very thrown together marathon in a couple months. This time around, we've had a lot more time to work on it, and even got a nice logo redesign by Intranus, who did Valhalla Nights earlier on in the marathon. So it's been interesting working with many people and getting more people involved with these longer runs this time, which was a big change from last year. We have a lot of more variety of games and a lot more interesting longer runs as well. So it's been nice to see people return, some of them. Turbodog being one of them. We have the Automata guys later on to close up the marathon. So, and Ragnell is doing God of War 3, and he did God of War 2 and 1 before last year. So, my plans try to keep doing this every year. I'm not sure about time frame wise. Maybe try again for around the same time, but it's kind of just up to when we can get everybody set up with availability, and when I can make sure that I'm around for handling a lot of the stuff. Considering a lot of the grunt work is done just by me, and you know, if people want to help out, this is.
So now we are making our way to the Chaos Gauntlets, because we know that Dracula is going to need Chaos magic as well. We cannot skip this cutscene, so we do have to watch it. We fought Bloody Skeletons there. Bloody Skeletons are kind of an annoying part of the run. If you kill them normally, then what happens is they turn into a blood pool and try to reform another skeleton, and your goal is to kill them when they're in their blood pool form. However, there is a couple ways that you can kind of get around that. The first of which is what I did, which is when they spawn, if you know exactly where they are spawning, then you can attempt to kill the blood pool before it reaches its first skeleton. Another option you can have is to use Ultimate Glacium to freeze the skeletons when they're in skeleton form, and then kill them, and that prevents the blood pool from actually forming. We have been looking at ways to potentially skipping that segment and getting into this room, but so far they've been kind of not fruitful. The other person who mainly runs Lords of Shadow 2, including the DLC and the main game, is Church and Sarge. I do have plans to learn Lords of Shadow 2. Right now I only know 1 and Mirror of Fate. Mirror of Fate will never make it in this marathon because it's a bad game, and I don't want to play it more than I need to.
Okay, so I should beg you to do it next time?
It's real. It's not even a good run. Like,
I haven't even seen it, so I'd be interested.
Alright, so at the top here we're going to blow up another Snare Demon to finish up this combat. So we're actually going for the vampires first on purpose, and keeping the Harpy up. If we kill the Harpy first, then what happens is another Harpy will spawn, and Harpies are considerably more annoying to deal with than the vampires. We're now using Ultimate Glacium to freeze the Harpy out of the air so that she doesn't run around, and we're going to get rid of her here. Pick up that last thing. I believe we have enough relics to kind of carry us through the rest of the DLC. However, it still would be nice to get access to some ensnared demons. That way we don't need to transmute.
I remember briefly where you got that soft lock here.
In this one, there's actually a way that you can get... Oh, right. So I got into a command grab thing, and the prompt actually wasn't clearing. So I got into this situation where I was unable to progress, and it kind of killed the run. It's fine, though. I mean, honestly, this game is relatively pretty stable. And the DLC as well, considering that it's a DLC. There is the ability to do a skip that I call the blood walk skip. Blood walking is kind of a technique that allows you to stand in air using the dropping levels of blood. That being said, we don't really have a good visual cue for it, and we also have an alternate strategy that, while not as fast optimally, it's still pretty good. Moving the camera to the side of Alucard here so it moves less for this flyby scene. Again, can't skip this. This is a time sequence. You're going to be seeing that skip I was referring to coming up right after this. It skips over fighting some blood skeletons, ideally. That's really bad. So one of the poor things about running this is that sometimes the bat anchor points just do not want to work correctly. That's especially apparent in a puzzle coming up soon enough, where you're supposed to drop a shield onto a switch, and then the switch starts shooting fire after a short time, and you're supposed to bat out of that position. It just doesn't work sometimes. 1, 2. I wanted to make sure I got the checkpoint there, because if you don't get the checkpoint, then you cannot progress as quickly. So by immediately going to this cylinder, we basically went back to near the switch where I triggered that, and that allows us to get to this cylinder faster than the spawning skeletons can get to us. If I did the blood walk glitch, I would be climbing on the air, and when I'm in the air, I actually don't have collision with a number of things, including the door. So when you bloodlock, you're able to just run through the door. Potentially even more abusive if I had a better knowledge pool for the game. Because coming up soon, we're going to hit a chimney. And I theorize that with an appropriate setup, you could probably enter the chimney without doing any of this extra stuff where I'm using my blood to fuel the vessels and change the blood level inside of this chamber. Have not been able to prove it yet, though, and again, like, I don't have a huge knowledge base in this game to be able to test it. In general, Lords of Shadow 2 is a lot less abusive than Lords of Shadow 1, just because, as mentioned, you only carry over your experience. You don't carry over your relics, your movement options. Nice use of the stomp there to save a little bit of time as well. Unattended skip, you're supposed to go all around this room to get over here and activate this shield, but by using the bat form, kind of get there a little faster. You could potentially double jump in a way to get on top of this platform from here as well, but I found that the bat form was at least a second or two faster and much easier to do. That, and I really like the feeling of the bat swarm. Like, it's unfortunate that it can only go to anchor points. I'll talk about that more a little bit in a sec. This is the one that doesn't work half the time that I was referring to. And by half the time, I mean, yeah, it's not working right now. Whew, okay. I actually got in there. That was about the last moment that I could have possibly gotten that hit, so pretty happy with that. Get another ensnared demon, that's nice. Alright. We now have the Chaos Gauntlets, and we put those in the care of the Gorgons, who will hold on to them until Gabriel can get them. And we're now going to make our way to disguise Alucard for the game proper. If you haven't played this game and you have any desire to, for some reason, for the story, then I would recommend not watching this final scene, because it's going to kind of spoil a big plot point of the game. Alright. So, I will do one more transmute. This has actually been pretty good luck, relic-wise. I've had to go out of my way to pick up a couple of ensnared demons that have dropped, but I'd much rather do that than have to transmute in the menu, because again, that's quite slow. So ideally we can one cycle this, but sometimes the lieutenant is a complete jerk. So far it's going pretty well. Yeah. Lieutenant's a really cool character design also. Kind of odd.
It's easy to break your guard. I'll never be where your weapon strikes.
Yeah, there's a strong chance I don't. I am trying my best to. Okay, I got him. So you're supposed to be able to kill him in the single attack, but it wasn't really playing out so well. So time is going to be once I tackle him with wolf form, so it's coming up in a second or two. And time. Yeah, normally you really want to kill him during that first ensnared demon, but with the way he was moving, I wasn't able to quickly get that. I also broke my ensnared demon a little early, but that's fine. We were able to finish him off. If you don't do that, then you have to go through a lengthy scene where he does like kind of a cutscene special move to knock you away. So luckily we still got the cycle. That felt like a sub 21. I don't know what the time is, but
2017 by the looks of it.
2017.
2017-03.
That's pretty good.
Lord Zobek, we found him. You were right. He is here.
Yeah, it's gonna be the end of the DLC for Lords of Shadow 2. If this was interesting at all, you can totally look up speedrun.com. It's very straightforward if you have some game knowledge for Lords of Shadow 2. Easy to pick up. Not like the glitches that I did mention in the skips are easy enough to pick up on. But,
yeah,
yeah.
I'll drop that link for the Lords of Shadow 2 boards. But yeah, generally any of the Castlevania guys have been pretty awesome to talk to and learn the games with.
But yeah, look forward to trying to get Lords of Shadow 2 cracked so I can maybe do like series runs or something. Also, me and Romscott have thrown around possibly doing something like an all Castlevanias run thing between the two of us, but you can always follow me on Twitter or keep an eye out and speedrun stuff elsewhere to see if that's going to happen or not. But thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the rest of ARPGME. I think we have Eternal Ring next, which I'm actually kind of interested to look up. It's
Yeah,
basically
Eternal Ring will...
it's the first person Dark Souls
Yeah, basically.
at 60 FPS.
Yeah, it's it'll be an interesting run for sure. So looking forward to that as well. And then you'll be back later with Shining Force Exa on Sunday early, I guess.
Yeah, early Sunday morning I'm going to be doing Shining Force Exa. That's going to be about a 6-hour run, considerably longer than this. So,
But it'll be comfy at least. So
everyone will be asleep, so it won't matter. It'll be fine.
it'll be a comfy run though.
Anyway, I will see you guys another time. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest.